And welcome, folks. We are here in week 8 of Intro to Law. I am in sunny Lambeau Field, not actually, and Professor Dayton is in somewhat cloudy Des Moines, actually. This week you'll be studying criminal law. So this is an interesting topic. I think a lot of people find this to be kind of neat because there are a lot of cool shows and podcasts and things, and I was actually going to recommend to you guys a new podcast called Up Against the Mob. And Professor Dayton, you might like this too. Eli Honig was for 14 years was a federal prosecutor in the Southern District of New York, Manhattan office, and he prosecuted hundreds of people in the mafia. And the kind of the cool thing about this podcast is he brings in the guys he prosecuted on the show and chats with them in a very kind of cordial way. And so I was listening to episode 1, and he had a former gangster on there and was playing some secretly recorded audio of the gangster that he used to prosecute him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you remember this?" And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." And it was so if you're interested in organized crime and criminal law and prosecution, that's kind of a cool thing. The other thing I wanted to put on your radar this week. So there is a Facebook whistleblower issue that is going on. Frances Haugen, who is from Iowa City, has left her job at Facebook and took with her a trove of information that is harmful to Facebook, a trove of internal Facebook documents, and had her lawyers file complaints with the SEC about what Facebook is doing. And essentially, one of the main thrusts of the complaints is that Facebook's algorithm forces stories to the top of your feed that will make you angry because you will then interact more with it. And I think we all sort of had that idea. But the news article in KCCI today is, will Facebook sue the whistleblower? And so it goes into some interesting topics about whistleblower protection and the practicality of this. So we'll also touch on that later in the class as we get to employment law. So it should be interesting. Well, Professor Dayton, any tips for these guys this week as we get into the second half of the class?
Yeah, maybe a couple things. First, if you didn't take the midterm, you should have. So contact us immediately if you have not. Um, on Facebook, yeah, I mean, that seems right. That's why I got rid of Facebook a long time ago. I was tired of the posts. And finally, as you read criminal law, there's a substantial difference between being prosecuted in the federal court system versus the state court system. And if you are a defendant, you don't want to be in federal court system. First of all, they've pretty much already won by the time they bring your case. So hopefully you get a chance to serve on a jury someday and find out those things, and that way as opposed to being a defendant. But
yeah,
that's all I got to say about that.
The penalties are much stronger in federal court. And like you said, by the time you get there, they probably have a lot of information. So in listening to this podcast, before they brought someone in to indict them and then see if they would flip and become a cooperating witness, they gathered hundreds of hours of recorded audio of them committing crimes. So when you're confronted with hundreds of hours of yourself talking about crimes that you are committing or going to commit, it makes that choice a little bit easier. So go forth, do not commit crimes, stay healthy, stay safe, and as always, drop into office hours with any questions, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great week.